Welcome, everybody. John Zager. Good afternoon. Actually, I suppose it's evening. Good evening. 5:03 Colorado time on the eastern slope. Let me make sure everything's going right. Yeah, it looks like everything's good. Kind of had a fairly busy day. Got up early, did a lot of different things. Got a lot of stuff done today for, what day is it? Saturday? Saturday. Temperature 66. Supposed to start raining tonight or tomorrow early. And says, I don't know if it will or not, it says rain through Tuesday. Changing to snow Monday and Tuesday, I think it said. I'm not sure. Cold weather. We're down in 30s, low 30s at night. And I don't know, I think, well, what is it, 66 now? Tomorrow it's supposed to be down to 54. And then I think Monday it goes down to 43 or something. So we got a cold front coming in. You know, a little taste of winter approaching for 3-4 days. You know what? But it's fall. It's fall, and it's not winter yet. We're not going to get a blizzard. We're going to probably get a dusting of snow down here. And up in these foothills I'm looking at in front of me, you know, that's probably going to be white. But I think that's 6,000 feet or above for the snow. So anyway, I figured I'd hop in the truck real quick, 5 o'clock, and head over to the house, see how they're doing today. You know, my daily trip to the house. And seems like I do my podcast during that time. I was going to do my podcast just at home just now. And then I got thinking, I seem to enjoy doing them more when I'm outside, you know, driving around or doing something. So I hopped in the truck. I did a blog this morning early. It was actually good. It was pretty lengthy for me. And the blog was on already happened, already healed, you know, stuff like that. So here's the way that goes. Back when I was doing clinical, you know, yesterday, just before I get started, yesterday I noticed that the road noise was not very, very loud compared to the 2 previous days. So I have like 2 miles, 3 miles. I go east before I really shut the engine down. So that's probably 4 or 5 minutes. We'll see what happens tonight. I put the earplugs in a little deeper. Maybe that'll prevent some of that road noise. And again, I'm just staying at 24 miles an hour so that it's hopefully not very loud. But anyway, already healed. When I was doing clinical, doctors used to send me patients of theirs, which became clients of mine. And they may have had terminal illness. They may have had a bad prognosis. And you know, in the interim, the doctors want them to get some psychological counseling. Go figure that one out. You know, you're going to die here shortly, but we want you to get some counseling. I never did figure that, how they arrived at that. But, so anyway, my approach was always the same. I want you to think about, visualize, imagine, meditate on whatever you have to do to focus your attention on seeing yourself already healed, without a disease, without an illness, without a sickness, without a prognosis, you're going to die. That kind of thing. And it's kind of interesting because, I wasn't trying to cure anybody. I was just trying to relieve some of the stress and pain for people that were experiencing the fear of death, the fear of a terminal disease. That's all I was trying to do. And so I'm not taking any credit for anything, but some of the results were kind of amazing. Some of the results were that people didn't die. No, not a whole bunch of people. It was not like I was getting a ton of these people, but I would get one now, one again later, here and there kind of thing. But looking back, there were several, there were many, there were a number of people that as they focused their attention on not being sick, not dying, not dealing with the fear of death, not having all the negative pictures and thoughts go through their mind, but rather all the positive and I guess healthy thoughts and pictures of them living a healthy life. They would see themselves in the future, a few weeks, a few months, a couple years down the road, and being healthy and happy and without disease. And that's what I focused my work on for those particular people, right? They were there for that reason. And here, how should I say this? Why would I want those people that are fearful already, scared, immobile, not having any visualization of a positive outcome, right? Why would I want to bring them into my office? These doctors sent them to me. Why would I want to bring them into my office and for whatever length of time it happens to be, we deal with their fear and their picture of death and dying, of their sickness, of their disease? Why would I want to do that? Why would I want them to relive what they're experiencing 23 hours of the day when they're not in my office? So I took the opposite approach. Instead of giving them an opportunity to express their fear and their negative thinking of, my gosh, there's no possibility I'm going to make it. I'm going to die. I'm going to lose my family, my kids, my house. Da, 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 da. I changed it around to, hey, there's a possibility I may not die. There's a possibility my disease might get better. Why do I want to focus on it's all negative? Remember a few weeks back, and again, I don't know how many of you people are out there. I give up trying to figure it out. But a few weeks back, I was talking about a lady who had a small boy with a terminal illness. He was just a little guy. I don't know. I don't remember now, but let's just say 2 or 3 years old. And the doctor told the mom that, he had a 94% likelihood of not surviving. And the mother got upset with the doctor and said to the doctor, I'm not here to talk about his disease that's really rare, and that, there's a 94% probability he's not going to survive. I want to know about the 6% chance that he's going to live. And then as the story went on, if you remember, if you guys were listening to that particular podcast, it's a good one. He was given a special medicine that was just in the research stages. And 25 little kids his age were given that, and there was only like a 2% probability greater now that he would survive if this medicine worked. And the other 24 kids died, and he lived. And of course, the kid's alive today. But the point being is that the mother continued to say to the boy, as he grew older and never died, he kept staying alive. Another week, another month, another several months, a year, a couple years. The mother kept saying to him, you're going to be just fine. You're going to be just fine. The doctor says there's a probability that you're going to survive this. She wasn't lying. And the little kid heard that. And the little kid kept changing his belief system, which he was very small at the time, right? But he kept changing his thoughts from I'm going to die to I'm going to live. Let's see. One other story. There's another story about a mother. This one was on the internet. I talked about it in a podcast maybe a year ago. And it was fascinating. Fascinating. There was this little guy, I think he was, 8. And he had some form of cancer. And he was in the, and the doctors had done everything they possibly could to help him, and they ran out of ideas and sent him home with his mother and said, he'll die in a week. Phew. Modern medicine, you guys. Boy, don't get me started on that one. Whew, don't get me started on that one. And so the mother was taking a picture of him in his shorts, right, in front of the mirror in the bathroom, crying, saying, I'm going to die in a week or less, and I don't know why that's happening to me at 8 years old. And he just was bawling and crying, and he was dealing with adult issues that he wasn't supposed to be dealing with. He's an 8-year-old kid. And he was dealing with, somebody told him, the doctor probably, that he's going to die. And the mother knew not what to do or what to say. She didn't realize that all she needed was 1% probability that he could make it. She didn't understand that. And as the thing went on the internet, they never told us the conclusion. The assumption is the little guy died. And the mother was making a statement that this should not be happening to little boys at 8 years old. She had nothing to give him that he was going to make it. And the doctors did you understand, the doctors did a bad job because they gave the boy no hope. There was the other story I gave you guys, I don't know, maybe almost a year ago, about the lady who had a son and they lived in the projects of the inner city of, I don't know, let's say Philadelphia or someplace. And everybody, they lived in the projects, and everybody in the neighborhood was shooting each other and dying and doing drugs and becoming dealers, and it just was ugly, ugly, ugly. And the mom kept telling her son, because he was a little guy in grade school, "You're going to be great. You're going to graduate from high school and go on to an Ivy League college. You're going to be a professional person, and you're not ever going to have to deal with this life in the inner city and the ghetto." She told him that kind of stuff every single day of his life as she put him up on the table, to dress him so that he could get ready to go to school. Every day. It was like she was saying, there's a 3% chance that you're going to make it, and I know you will. The odds are in your favor. You're going to succeed. You're not going to die. You're not going to get shot. You're not going to sell drugs. You're not going to be a drug addict. Blah, 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 blah. That's what she did. And as the story went on, if you guys remember, for those of you guys that were around at that time, I'll skip and go to the end, but the end of the story was the little kid got accepted to Harvard. And he graduated first in his class. All the mother needed was a 1%, 2%, 3% probability, chance, odds that her boy would make it. And that's what she gave him. That's what she gave him. Doctors are wrong in saying to families, there's nothing more we can do. The probability is, well in excess of 80%. Your child's not going to make it. That kind of talk needs to not occur. Now, I'm just thinking about it for myself as an adult, right? All I need is 1%, 2%, 3%, 5%. A small number's fine with me. But the point being, right, is that that's what you need to work on. So, to kind of tie it back together to when I was doing clinical, right, all I was giving these people when they came into my office was the opposite of what their doctor was giving them. We're not here to go through and mourn your death that hasn't quite happened yet. I mean, we're not here for that. We're not here for that. We're here to visualize and imagine and meditate on and see and think about ourselves well and healthy without a disease, living a vibrant life, right? A healthy life, disease-free, with infinite possibilities of surviving and having a great life. That's all I did. That's all I did with people. right? That's what I did. And some, not for anything I did, but some of them survived. And they did not die. Now, I didn't keep track of them, year after year after year after year. I don't know. Maybe they got old enough and they just died of old age. What do I know? But for as long as I know, there were several out of the bunch that got well by changing their belief system. See, here's the deal. You got yourself sick. You got yourself a disease based on how you think and your belief system. I don't care. If you're sitting in the emergency room right now listening to this, that's how you got it. If you're sitting in long-term care, listening to this, that's how you got it. There's nothing genetic about it. There's no genetics. It wasn't passed on to you by anybody. You didn't have a bullseye on your head. Change your belief system. Change your belief system. Get up and walk back into your life. And one of the ways you can do that is to visualize and meditate on yourself in the future, well and healthy and disease-free. So I broke down today and I'm drinking Pepsi with ice in a red Solo cup. And I gotta tell you guys, it's great. So the house is good. I'm sitting in front of it on, what would I be? That's west. So this would be northwest corner of the house. So they have the shake shingles up, I think, over maybe better than half of the house. And I've been worried about the roof color they were going to put on, and I see at the bottom they've just started somehow. I'm not a roofer, so I don't know what they're doing. But it's a dark kind of charcoal color, as near as I can tell. It's if they stay with the charcoal color, it's going to turn out just fine. But it looks like the two colors are going to be this gray shingle and charcoal so far. And then, of course, they have white trim on all the eaves. It is a very pretty house. Very pretty house. I can't wait. So, anyway, that's the podcast for today. Start visualizing positive stuff. Start thinking about positive stuff. It's easy. It's easy to think about the negative stuff going on. Your sickness, your ill health, your whatever you have going on. You can spend all day long, you can spend 24 hours a day visualizing all the negatives. And your life will be negative. And it'll exacerbate everything that you have. So, it's kind of your call. Anyway, what is this, Saturday evening? Going to get cold here for the next few days, so I'm looking kind of forward to it. We've been hot all summer, dry, no rain, and we now have a little bit of an opportunity to have probably a brief fall for a while. God bless everybody. Take care of one another, and I look forward to talking to you all again real soon. See you. Bye.